Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making some Italian meatballs, my Italian meatballs. I have a picture of this skull here because it's just really cool. If you've ever seen the 1980s movie House Part 2, it kind of reminds me of that and I had to buy it. So, alright, moving on. So here's what we're going to make today. We're going to make some Italian meatballs. We're going to pair that with some frozen Celentano cheese ravioli, some Del Grosso spaghetti sauce, and some Pepperidge Farm Texas toast. Okay, so let's go over our ingredients. Alright, first we have ground beef. We have some 93.7 ground beef, and this is what I recommend using because your meatballs will stay together. Next we have some mild Italian sausage links. We have 6 of these, but we're only going to use about 2.5. We're only looking for about a ½ pound out of this. We'll vacuum seal the rest. After that, we have 1 large egg. We have some regular table salt. We have about a ½ cup of onion here. Some of it's chopped and some of it isn't. We're going to put it in our chopper and we're going to make it a real fine chop. We have some dried parsley flakes here. You could use fresh if you want to. I can't really tell the difference, so I just use the dry ones. Here we have some 4C seasoned breadcrumbs. We have some minced garlic. We have some French's Worcestershire sauce. I like French's better than Lee & Perrins. After that, we have some whole milk. We have some ground black pepper. We have some pickled jalapeno peppers that we're going to mix in with our onions when we chop them. These aren't super hot, so it's not like you're going to be burning your mouth eating these meatballs. We also have some zesty Italian dressing that we're going to add a little bit of a splash to our meatballs with. I also have some anchovies here that we are going to grind up into a paste. They've been sitting in the fridge and the oil has solidified, so we're going to let them sit out a little bit until that thaws out. So we're going to start by putting our ingredients together and getting everything prepped. We're going to take some of these anchovies, we're going to put them into our mortar and thistle, and we're going to grind them into a paste. This is about what we're looking for. Now let's get our chopper ready. We're going to put our onions and our jalapenos into this chopper, and we're going to chop it up. So I like to pat these jalapenos dry, so I'm going to put them here on a paper towel, and I'm going to get all the liquid out of them as much as I can. Now that they're dry, we're going to add our jalapenos into our onions. And we're going to add that into our chopper. Now let's get the lid onto our chopper. And let's get this chopped up. The jalapenos and the onions, let's get them chopped and get them chopped pretty fine. That should work pretty good for what we're doing. Alright, let's set that aside and we're going to move on. So our package of ground meat is about a little more than 1 pound. So now we want to weigh out our sausage and we're going to come up to about a ½ pound worth of sausage to mix in with this. Now to do this, we're going to use 2 of the sausage links and a half of one. And we're going to be a little bit over a ½ pound, but it'll be okay. So here's the half that we're going to add, and that'll put us just a little bit over a ½ pound. Alright, so we have our sausage on our cutting board. We're going to slice the casing, and we are going to peel the casing off, and we are just going to use the meat with our meatballs. Now we're going to start putting everything together in our bowl. We're going to put the sausage in the bowl. We're going to add in our 93.7 ground beef. We're going to add in our onions and our jalapenos, which were chopped together. We're going to add these into the meat. Next, we're going to add in our anchovy paste. After the anchovies, we're going to add 1 egg. Then we add a heaping tablespoon of minced garlic. Then we're going to add a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. We're going to add a half a teaspoon of table salt. We're going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to add a tablespoon of dried parsley. And now we're going to add 3/4 cups of our seasoned breadcrumbs. So there's 1/4. There's 2/4 and 3/4. After that, we're going to add a dash of zesty Italian dressing. We're going to add in a 1/2 cup of whole milk. Now, as an afterthought, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of Italian seasoning. Now, the next thing to do is to give this a good mix and then form it into some meatballs. And right here is about the consistency that you're looking for. You want it to be kind of sticky, but not too watery. So I've laid down a sheet of foil here, and I'm going to start forming my meatballs. And there we have it. This mix has yielded us 16 meatballs. We're going to put these on a tray and put them in the fridge and let them chill for a little bit before we fry them. So we're going to carefully move these over to our broiler tray and just put them in our fridge and let them firm up a little bit. You really don't need to do this part, because if you're using 93.7 meat and you're using the sausage, you don't have to let them firm up in the fridge. But I'm going to do it anyway. And into the fridge they're going to go for about 30 minutes. Okay, so I have some olive oil in a pan here. A fairly big pan. And we're going to warm this up to medium to low heat. Okay, our pan is hot. And it's time to swish around the oil a little bit. And let's put our meatballs in and start browning them. You could bake these meatballs if you want to, but I prefer to fry them. Now I kind of reform these meatballs a little bit just to make sure that they're meatballs as I put them in the pan. So let's get all these meatballs into the pan and go from there. Okay, so let's put our lid on and let these fry for about 20 to 25 minutes. And we're going to flip them every 5 minutes or so. These meatballs are nice and firm because we use the 93.7 meat, and they're easy to move around and fry within the pan. If you use 80/20 or you use pork or anything like that, they kind of want to fall apart. So at this point, you just want to kind of keep these moving so that they don't burn on one side. You want to fry them for about 20 to 25 minutes or so, give or take. Now these are some pretty firm meatballs. They're pretty easy to cook because of, again, the meat that we used. And you'll see that one down there in the left-hand corner there, it's split. But out of all these meatballs, that's the only one we had an issue with. I'm not quite sure why it did. Maybe it's the mix. And we're just going to take that one and cut it in half, and that particular meatball will just become two meatballs. While these are frying on medium heat, you want to keep them moving. You don't want them to burn on any sides. You just want them to brown all the way around. You can drain these and drain the fat and drain the oil out of the pan if you want. And I'm not going to do anything special for sauce here. I made the meatballs and we're not making our own sauce. So we got 3 cheese Del Grosso. And we also have tomato basil Del Grosso. I like to use 2 jars. And you'll see why. So here we're going to add in the first jar of sauce. I'm going to rinse that jar out, and then we're going to pour in the water. And we're going to do the same thing with the second jar. And we're going to keep stirring this and keep it moving. And we have reduced this to low heat and let it simmer. We're going to let this simmer for about 35 minutes or so, give or take. Alright, so we've been simmering along here now for about 20 minutes or so. Let's give this a stir and see what we're looking like. Meatballs are nice and firm. Everything looks good. The sauce needs a little bit more time to thicken up, but we'll get there. Now we're going to let this cook for a little bit with the lid off so that it cooks down and thickens up a little bit. Yeah, that's about what I'm looking for as far as my meatballs go. So it was 20 to 25 minutes to fry them, and 30 to 35 minutes to cook them in the sauce. And the sauce has cooked down. It's pretty thick. Let's plate this up. Alright, let's get our large Celentano cheese ravioli down on our plate, and we're going to get this plated up. Oh yeah, looks pretty good. Let's add some sauce to it. I love spaghetti sauce, so we're gonna add a little bit extra to it. Now, let's add not one, but 2 meatballs to this ravioli dish. Now, what Italian dish wouldn't be complete without shaker cheese? We have some Parmesan, Asiago, and Romano cheese blend here that we're going to put all over it. Let's add some Pepperidge Farm garlic Texas toast, because that's just what you need to eat with this. Alright, so let's cut into these meatballs and see how we did. These meatballs are nice and firm, nice and juicy. They look pretty good. They should be nice and tasty. Let's check it out and see how we did. Got a piece here to try. Cheers. Yep, that's a really good meatball. You really should try this recipe because it's good. If you like this content, like, subscribe, and leave me comments in the bottom. I try to answer all the comments. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next video. And damn, this is good. And it's time to eat. So, see you later. Bye.